Hi, everybody. How's it going? I got the coveted after lunch slot. Yeah! So, welcome. I'm the coordinator of faculty development at the Faculty Resource Center. And as you will see on several of my slides today, we also support you, the graduate teaching assistant. We support you in your use of the enterprise-wide educational technologies, which we'll discuss in a moment. The main one of those being Blackboard. Any Blackboard fans? Yeah, okay, hooray. So that is our function at the Faculty Resource Center. But before we go any further, some quizzical looks out there. I just want to get this out of the way. We're friends now. We've known each other for about a minute. I look like Drew Carey. That's what you're wondering. Thank you very much. That guy stole my act, really. But so I just wanted to help you with that because I didn't want you sitting there the whole time going, who does this guy look like? So, okay. So, if you get nothing else from today, if you remember nothing because you just had lunch, remember our website, frc.ua.edu. This website has information about all the instructional technologies that we support. We have tutorials there. There is a workshop schedule there. And that, hopefully, there's also contact information on how to contact the FRC should you need help. And we are there for you. So if you have a question, don't know the answer to it, give us a call, 348-3532. We're in Gordon Palmer, the loveliest building on campus, really. No, it's not. But come see us anyway. Love to see y'all at workshops. They're open for everybody, so I hope you can join us. But again, if you get nothing else, remember frc.ua.edu. At this point in your University of Alabama careers, no doubt you have been exposed to MyBama. This is the one-stop portal that does nearly everything at the University of Alabama. Of course, you can check your Crimson Mail, register for classes, all manner of other tools, and we'll be taking a look at some of those in just a moment. But MyBama is your source for that. For MyBama, and check this out, I like doing live technology demos because it's kind of exciting. So I'm going to log into MyBama. And by the way, funny story, I teach as an adjunct in what was called telecommunication and film. I teach a post-production course, so come on down, take a class. And there was one evening I am logging into MyBama and inadvertently thinking I'm tabbing between the fields, right? And I didn't, so I just typed my password in the clear. So yeah, I had a little freak out about that. Didn't do that today though, I don't think. Did I mention how I like doing live technology demos because it's exciting? And it always works. It always works. So we're gonna reload. All right then. So, have you heard the one about the duck that walks into a drugstore? No, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's try this again. If at first you don't succeed, and the big buildup about being a technology genius, I think that's what that was. Okay. Here we are at MyBama. So, one thing that is probably a good thing for all of us to do, under your faculty tab or perhaps your academics tab, let's take a look there. There's this little fairly subtle window here. It's not always this tall, but Banner self-service is where you can do a lot of things, but you can change your personal information. So it's always a good idea to update your contact information just to make sure that all those things on file are correct, because human beings oftentimes put that in. But you can update your contact information and things at MyBama, so that's a good thing. We'll leave that going. Update your emergency contacts. The photo class list, and what you're about to see right here is the most outstanding example of Photoshop work in my entire career, right here, because I can't show you my actual class list, right? Because that would be a FERPA violation. You've all heard about that, right? You got the lawyer talk earlier today. So I made that. Thank you very much. A lot of cats, some dogs, some creatures. But the photo class list is also available in MyBama. I find this to be extremely helpful because I am name challenged. So it takes me the better part of a semester to memorize folks' names. And so here's a little kung fu tip for you. I will print this out. Typically, I have like 15 students, okay? Now, some of y'all are going to be teaching giant classes. I don't know what you do for that, but I typically shrink that down. I print it out. I black out all the FERPA information like student numbers and stuff like that, and I tape it to the inside of my class folder, so I have that. That's kind of a help. One little bit of advice, these photos, I teach a 400-level course. These photos are made when your students have come to MyBama, or for Bama Bound for orientation. So in many cases in my class, I'm looking at these kids 4 years later, so they look a little different, be advised. So, but the photo class list has been a great help to me in my teaching. Again, I am memory challenged with names. I do okay with faces, but names, not so much. So I mentioned the technologies that we support at the Faculty Resource Center. Of course, Blackboard is big for us. We also support technologies that interface with Blackboard. We support Turnitin. Anybody heard of Turnitin? Plagiarism detection software. Tegrity, which is our lecture capture system. Blackboard Collaborate, which is a real-time web conferencing application. Turning Point clickers allows for real-time quizzing of your students in class. And also UA Box. Y'all familiar with UA Box, online cloud storage? We'll talk about each of these a little bit. So Blackboard Learn. What does Blackboard Learn do for you? Well, on one level, it's a place that's a grade book. It's a portal through which you can share content with your students. You can have discussions, wikis, blogs. You can do your testing through Blackboard. You can share documents and videos. And because of our wonderful staff in the Office of Information Technology, you can easily submit your midterm and final grades to MyBama. So those two systems are, through some brilliant coding, are linked in MyBama. So Blackboard Learn is the way you do that. And there's our happy, for graduate students too, happy face. This is a tough room. Okay, so Blackboard Learn. And we have workshops on all of these topics, by the way. Turning Point, Turning Technologies is our clicker system. So if you're teaching a large lecture class, for instance, if each of you had a clicker now and I'd built a interactive presentation slide, I could poll you and see how I'm doing. I don't know if I'd want to do that, but I could do that. You can get real-time feedback. You can check student comprehension. You can save those results and actually import them to a grade center column in Blackboard. And now there is, in addition to the actual clicker device, you can download an application, your students can rather, download an application and use your mobile device or your computer as a virtual clicker. So that is the Turning technology. The software you use in the class to actually create the presentations is called Turning Point. Again, we have workshops on all of these topics. Tegrity is a really cool thing. Tegrity is lecture capture. So what the Tegrity application does is it records the audio of what's being said in a multimedia classroom as well as what's going on the screen. Virtually all, and I'm looking at Kevin Halbrook here, my colleague. Kevin, all of the multimedia classrooms on campus are Tegrity equipped? Is it safe to say that? Virtually all of the multimedia classrooms are Tegrity equipped. So you as an instructor walk into your classroom click the little Tegrity icon, which is in the sys tray, which is down at the bottom right. You log into Tegrity. You can record your presentation. When you're done, you hit stop. It automatically uploads. Your students then have access to the recording of your lecture. Now, that's cool. But the real magic beans part of Tegrity to me is that your students can then search these recordings based on the text that is in your slides. So if I was making a recording of this, and later you were reviewing it, you could type in the search box Tegrity, and Tegrity would search, find this slide, and take you right to that point in the recording so you could review that. I think that is really cool. Kevin Halbrook is our direct Tegrity support person in our office. And again, we'd love to see y'all at a workshop specifically to talk about Tegrity. Turnitin is also supported by Kevin. Turnitin, of course, is mainly known for plagiarism detection, but it's also a way for you to help your students improve their writing and citation skills. Also supports peer review, and Turnitin has its own special assignment category in Blackboard. We'll take a brief look at that in just a bit, but Turnitin is also supported by us. Again, we have workshops. Blackboard Collaborate is, as I mentioned, a real-time collaborative tool that allows you to have virtual meetings sharing live audio and video. You can share your PowerPoint content. You can share, there's a virtual whiteboard that you can share with your students, chat. You can also do application sharing. So if you're teaching an application or you need to demo an application online, you can use Blackboard Collaborate. This is also built into Blackboard, as you would suspect, given that its name is Blackboard Collaborate. It's made by Blackboard, and it is integrated with Blackboard. So Blackboard Collaborate is another very useful tool. We have a new tool for this year called VoiceThread, which is an interactive, think of it as an interactive multimedia discussion board. So you could add content to VoiceThread and then have your student make comments on the content that was added in either text, video, or audio. So VoiceThread is a new tool. We have also workshops on that at the Faculty Resource Center. UA Box is our official University of Alabama online cloud storage and collaboration tool. It is a way for you to access your files from anywhere. And this blows my mind. We have unlimited box storage. So I don't know how this works, okay, but we have unlimited storage. And I'm doing what I can to fill this up, but I haven't done it yet. But unlimited storage. We'll take a brief look at Box. The good news about Box is that as of Monday, each student on campus has had their Box account automatically set up. So all you need to do, and I'll show you how to do this in a moment, is access Box from the MyBama website, and you are then part of the cloud. You can access your files that way. It's a very neat tool, and again, the fact that we have unlimited storage is just wonderful. So we'll take a couple of, back to the live technology demo. Let's try this again. First, let me show you Box. UA Box is accessed through MyBama. We have single sign-on, so log into MyBama. Go down here to the Tech option. And in this center column, there is a Box link, and you click the second link. Of course, you can learn more about Box, which I encourage you to do, but you can also click this second link to be taken to Box directly. You'll be taken to this page that it just says, it knows you're part of the University of Alabama. but you need to click the continue button. And then, as if by magic, we're in the cloud. Perhaps you wondered where that was. It's right here. This is the cloud, ladies and gentlemen. Behold. So these are cloud folders. These are my folders built that have been added to Box by myself. You can add people as collaborators to folders. These blue folders that have little silhouettes on them are folders that I am collaborating with other people on campus. This little recycle icon right there means that that folder, through the use of an application called Box Sync, is synced to my local devices, meaning my laptop and my desktop computer have local copies of the files that exist in this folder. The cool thing about Box, well, there's a lot of cool things about Box, but one of the cool things about it is I've got access to these folders wherever I have an internet connection. And if I've got my laptop with me, as I do, I could access these folders, I could update them, and even if I didn't have an internet connection, the files that exist through Box Sync can be updated as soon as I return to an internet connection. So Box Sync, through the use of Box, is a very handy application. Fairly new to Box is the ability for us to collaborate in real time on both the document, that's called a Box Note. I can collaborate with other users in real time on a document if I chose to. And I can also use Microsoft Word Online to collaborate in real time again with another collaborator on a document. So I really encourage you to jump into Box. It's extremely handy. And the fact, again, that we have unlimited storage, I, as a just regular outside human being, pay the folks at Dropbox, which is a similar service, I pay them $100 a year for a terabyte of storage. So we at the university, Roll Tide, get unlimited storage on Box. So this is fantastic. I love Box. Can you tell? I like Box. I really do. And I do workshops on Box. So come to a workshop on Box. It'll be great. We'll talk about Box. It's wonderful. Okay, where was I going with this? All right. So let's talk about Blackboard. You're like, hey, Rick, how do I get to Blackboard? Well, under the More tab, or the More button at the top of My Bama, you click that, you will see the Blackboard icon. And when I connect that, we are connected to Blackboard. And this is the My Institution page of Blackboard, which is where we are taken by default. And you will see a list of my courses. Each of you will have this. Courses where you're an instructor. There are different roles, of course, in Blackboard. You could be an instructor. You can be a teaching assistant. You can be a course builder. I'm a student in some courses, and I'm also a course builder in some courses. So your role is defined when the course is set up. We typically don't have much control over that, but as you are assigned courses as a teaching assistant or a course builder or an instructor, you will then be able to access these courses in Blackboard. One little pro tip I want to give you today is that it's possible to rearrange this listing, this course listing, within Blackboard. And the way you do that is not terribly intuitive, so I want to show that to you. At the top right of the My Courses tab here, there's a very subtle S. I'm not even sure, can y'all see that? Right there, there's an S. And if we hover over it, well, there we go. If I hover over it, it is a Manage My Courses module settings. Don't know why that's an S, okay? Don't have any control over that. But that is how you manage your My Courses module. If you click on that, we're taken to the Personalize My Courses window. This is a fairly handy thing. I've checked the Group by Term button, so the actual live courses that I'm teaching appear in order. So have y'all deciphered the rather cryptic method of determining what semester is what yet? This is, so coming up, fall semester, 2016-4-0 is the fall semester. 2016-10 was the spring semester. And Kevin, I always get confused for the summer because I never teach in the summer. Is summer 20 or 30? I only think there's one. Well, anyway, so it's a secret code, and now you know how to determine what your course is. So 2016-4 is fall, 2016-10 is spring. Likewise, 2017-10 will be happening very soon. We can change the order so I can have it sort by terms. When I scroll down, and after you've been here a while, your course list will become quite long. And that's okay, because you can go in and turn off whether or not the courses display. So you can modify this table here. You can drag things about. If you hover over the end, you can move things about in your timeline, not your timeline, in the window there. And I've created a course for today called 2016 GTA Workshop. When you've made whatever changes you need to make, remember to hit the submit button so that Blackboard records your changes, and there we are. When you successfully do something, you get what I call the happy green bar of success across the top. The module has been successfully updated, so yay for me. But I just wanted to show you that because that is something that is not terribly intuitive about Blackboard. So let's go to my 2016 GTA Workshop course. And this is what a brand new, fresh out of the box, completely empty Blackboard course looks like. This course was created earlier this morning, and we have some areas I'd like to share with you. First of all, being the course menu here in the red up at the top left. We all see this, students and instructors see this menu. The course management menu is only available to us as instructors, so our students don't see this. So we will take a look at this in just a moment. So as I mentioned, Blackboard is a way to share content with your students. And to do that, we create what are called content areas. Now, out of the box, each Blackboard course comes with the course homepage. These are all links. You just click on them, and there is our course homepage. This little dashed square right here, that symbol indicates that there is no content in that content area. So again, if you hover over an icon, it will show you what it means. I call that the instructor's friend. I demo a lot of software, so it's oftentimes you'll be up here and you're like, what does this mean? Just hover over it, and it will show you. So this content area has no content. So it's time to add some content. We can choose to build content. By the way, these things across the top are actually buttons. They don't look terribly like buttons, but rest assured that they are buttons. And as we decide to build content, we can determine what type of content to build. And as you see, we have a pretty long list of different types of content we can add. So we can create items files, we can add audios, videos, we can add our OIRA syllabus link. Have y'all gotten the talk about the Office of Syllabus Management tool? That is added through this link right here. That's a separate tool that generally, if you're the instructor of a course, you're expected to create your syllabus, an online version of that, using the Office of Syllabus Management's tool, and this link will automatically include that in Blackboard for you. It won't in a non-integrated course, which this one means this is not a live course. It does not have actual students in it. Oh, and by the way, if you were to call us, if you wanted to practice your Blackboard skills, you could call and request to have a practice course made for you so that you would be the instructor of the course and that you could build and modify your course as you like. So jot that down. It's a very handy thing to have practice courses that you can work on. So let's add a file to a course. So I'll click Create File. And typically, as you add content, you'll get this type of dialog box here. Wherever you see this orange asterisk here, that is a required field. So we have to, let's just add a file. You can name the file whatever you want. You can choose, and this is just a miracle of modern science right here, but you can choose the color that the text appears in. Wow. Can you imagine the room full of guys it took to make that? So you can choose, you can pick a color swatch, and I'll share with you, I have added content to my course before, and later engaged my students on why they didn't get a given file, and it was represented to me that I had left the color just the default black, and my students were like, well, I didn't know that was an actual file. I didn't know that was something I could click on because it wasn't blue. Okay, so let's make it blue. So pick a blue, lovely blue. We'll apply that. Okay, so now you'll be dazzled in a minute, you really will, because the word file is going to appear in blue. Whoa. So now we get to pick a file. So let's see what files are on this computer. This will be fun. Okay, going great so far. Oh, okay, excellent. What do we got in here? Okay, let's see what happens if we just upload my presentation into the Blackboard course about my presentation. I hope the universe doesn't implode when I do this. I didn't practice this at the office. So we choose the file, we choose the color. There are some file options. You can have the file open in a new window. Okay, so let me take a step back for Blackboard. We pay the Blackboard company to provide us this service, that is access to Blackboard. That being said, there are some things in Blackboard that we can't control, and one of these things is this under item number 2 where it says add alignment to content. That is something that's built into Blackboard that is typically a K through 12 thing. So if you're in education, perhaps you know what this is. But the default is no, so that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. We have some view options under number 3. So you can choose whether or not to let your users view the content. This seems kind of counterintuitive, but there would be times when you want to add content that you're not quite ready to share with your students. Blackboard does a very good job of tracking the number of views. You can select that. Again, the default is no. And you can even select date and time restrictions to have your content display for a given amount of time. So I will just leave all those as they are. Make sure I'm, okay, users can view the content. So I will click Submit. Let's hope for that happy green bar of success. Come on, Blackboard. And this amount of time that we are experiencing right now is a function of how long it takes our content to upload to Blackboard. So that is what we're seeing right now. My presentation must be huge. So yes. And the another quick tip about Blackboard, the status will be displayed down here in the bottom left of the browser window. And as it says right now, we're sending a request to ualearn.blackboard.com, which, okay, I mentioned that we pay the Blackboard company for the privilege of using this tool on our campus. Blackboard, yay, I got the happy green bar of success. Blackboard is hosted on servers that live in a file center somewhere in Virginia. They do not reside locally in Tuscaloosa, but they do live in Virginia. That being said, there is an alternative way to get to Blackboard that is outside of MyBama. So if you were to go to ualearn.blackboard.com and enter your MyBama username and password, you could access Blackboard. So in the rare instance that MyBama would be down, you can still access your Blackboard content that way. So here we are. I've added the file, and look, it's blue. So thank you very much. Okay, so we have the file now has been added to Blackboard. That Blackboard doesn't really care what kind of file it is. This is a PDF. Notice that I changed the name of this thing to file. That is just the name of the link. It has nothing to do with the file name. So you could continue adding, hello, as I highlight everything. You could continue adding content this way. You can add folders. You can have folders within content areas. You can have folders within content areas. How you organize that is completely up to you and your instructor. So it's fairly wide open. Again, this is where it's really nice to have a practice course that you can just practice with and make sure, just practice to your heart's content. And after you got your course built exactly the way you want it, you could then copy that to a live, integrated with the Student Information System course. So a lot of people do that. I do that on occasion. So we've just added a file now to our content area. If we wanted to add additional content areas, the plus sign up at the top left here allows us to do that. So if I want to add a new content area, I click that. I see the pesky asterisk again. I can add a content area, cleverly named content area. I can decide whether or not to make it available to users. I can submit that. And as I add the new content area, by default, it goes to the bottom of this menu. I can drag this thing around and put that up at the top. My course that I teach as an adjunct meets once a week, so I have different content areas for each week. That's a way to do that. But again, you're completely free to arrange that however you would like. There are also, under the plus sign, there are different tools that we can use within Blackboard. So let's take a look at a couple of these. When I add a tool link, I can name the tool link whatever I want, but here's another pro tip for you. It's a good idea to name that tool the name of the tool, because I can name a tool Steve, but if I'm attempting to add the Blackboard course messaging tool, and here's a big list of tools, a lot of these are those technologies that I was talking about that we support, but if I want to add the Blackboard course messaging tool, which is called Course Messages, if I were to name this tool Steve, when you call our helpline and say, hey, Steve's not working today, that would be sort of confusing. And again, I try to keep things simple for both myself and my students, so I'm going to call it Course, whoops. I'm also a nervous typist, which is a lot of fun. So choose to make that available to users, submit that. And so there's our course message tool, which looks just like everything else in the menu. But let us take a brief detour now. And so as we're building content in our Blackboard course, it is very helpful to see the course as our students will see it. And it's very helpful for you as you're designing your course to be able to do that. There is a button here called Go to Student View. And when you click on that, you are taken to, given that this is the first time I've done this on this computer, it thinks I'm brand new. And you will get this little overlay that will give you a lovely tour if you want to partake, but we're going to pass on that for now, so I'll just close that. And so this is what the masterpiece of a course that we have built so far looks like to student users in the course. So here again is the course menu. Students don't get a plus sign or a course management menu. So this is what your students will see. And you can interact with the course exactly as they would. So as I click the link, given that that file type was a PowerPoint, I'm given the option of downloading that file. I'm not going to bother with that because you've already seen most of that. And so you can work through your course this way. Just to make sure that you are seeing what your students see. This is really handy and a very nice function built into Blackboard. I'm going to go back to Teacher View now. So as I mentioned, Blackboard's a great way to share content with your students. It's also a great way for your students to keep up with their grades. There is a My Grades tool so that as you, as the instructor or teaching assistant, add grades for different assignments and exams and such, your students can see how they're doing in the course without having to call you, which is wonderful. So let's go through creating an assignment to add in Blackboard, and we'll take a look at the Grade Center. So, yes? Mm-hmm. They do not get updated every time you upload a file, which is probably good, because that would probably be a lot of emails for them, and would be in my course. So it is imperative for you to let your students know to keep up with Blackboard, and however you might do that. I spend some time during my first class meeting giving some basic instruction in Blackboard. I found that even though, again, the students that I'm dealing with are typically junior and seniors, they will represent that they understand everything about Blackboard. So if you just walk into class the first day and go, hey, do y'all know about Blackboard? Everybody will say, oh, yeah, we know about Blackboard. But just give them a little tour of your course and let them know how to find things and interact with it. They should know, but it's not a bad idea to tell them. But there's not an update every time you add something. So again, making your course design just as obvious as possible is a good thing. So I hope that answers your question. But there's not you can create an announcement. There's a tool called Announcements that will show up on the My Institution page for your students. That would be a way. If you added something urgent, you could also send them a course message or an email. There's an email function as well. So that can be done. So hopefully that answers your question. So let's create an assignment. So here we are in our course homepage content area, and we're going to create an assignment, which is under the Assessments button. And you see we can add a test, survey assignment, self-and-peer assessment, mobile compatible test, a McGraw-Hill assignment, or a Turn-It-In assignment. Turn-It-In is special. It has its own assignment category. And if you're really interested in Turn-It-In, again, I recommend my colleague, Kevin Halbrook, the expert on Turn-It-In. I'm just going to add just a basic assignment. So I'll select Assignment. We have to give our assignment a name. I'm going to call it Write a Paper. Very original. I can enter instructions. "200 words on cats." Okay, so I'm sure we'd all want to read those. We can attach supporting documents if we have instructions or other materials that we need to do. You can add a due date, which appears in the Blackboard calendar. So I'm going to give y'all until tomorrow to get me those 200 words on cats. You also have to add points possible, which will appear. So we're going to make this worth 100 points. Cats are important. And we can add rubrics. Again, we have workshops that go into more detail on this, but you can create rubrics or score sheets for your assignments. I really like rubrics. They really changed the way that I grade. I will choose not to add that to this one. You can choose to make the assignment available and limit that availability if you want to. And I will submit this and our assignment. Yay. So there's an assignment that we've now added to our content area. So write a paper, 200 words on cats. And as we've added that assignment, note that in the grade center, our assignment now appears in the grade center. So write a paper appears. As I hover over this, it lets me know that it's 100 possible points. Write a paper, no one has submitted it. Also another pro tip about Blackboard, the very first time you access Student View in your course, it will add a demo user student to your course. So first time I did that, I thought someone had added my course. I was like, yay, I'm popular. But no, it's just this demo user gets added to your course. So you as the demo user, you can take your quizzes, you can upload assignments, you can grade them, you can go through the whole bit. So you will see exactly what your students will see. So that is quite handy. And by the way, we have workshops on all these topics. We have a workshop devoted to nothing but the grade center. We have a workshop devoted to creating assignments. So all these things are covered in a workshop. We also have tutorials on our website. So please, please, please visit that. And one last thing as we look at, I know I'm about to run out of time, under the tools, the Blackboard course message tool. So there's a course message tool and there is an email tool. The course message tool within Blackboard is a self-contained course message box within Blackboard. So if you have lots and lots of students and you don't want them to all be sending you emails that may or may not get misplaced, I recommend the course messages tool. It's a pretty rudimentary, old-style mailbox where you create a message, you address the message, you compose the message, you send the message, but it's all self-contained within Blackboard. And that, I find great comfort in that because all of your class communication then is contained within the course. And I'm just very worried about misplacing emails or losing some kind of critical communication. So I'm a big fan of the course message tool, but of course, should you decide to add the tool link, there is an email tool as well. Blackboard is, there are also some publisher content options available in Blackboard, McGraw-Hill, Cengage. Let's look at some others. So there is publisher content that you and your course instructor might decide to use, but there are lots of options within Blackboard. And I think time is drawing nigh. Okay, so again, if you remember nothing else about today, please remember to come to our website, frc.ua.edu, sign up for a workshop. I hope to see you guys there. Have a great semester, y'all. Good luck. Thank you.